So just keep flipping them every 30 seconds to a minute. Then we cooked it, risking life and limb with those big flare-ups. Now, look at that. How good does that look? Wow. G'day, I'm Schuey. Welcome to Smoked Barbecue Sauce, where we'll help you improve your barbecue game. Today, I'm gonna make a super tasty version of Carne Asada. This effectively translates to grilled meat, but it is so much more than that. So keep watching to find out why. Now, if you do like this video, don't forget, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your mates and leave a comment down below. But the best thing you can do for yourself is hit that subscribe and the bell button. By hitting the bell button, you're going to get notified every time we upload new videos. So let's get into it. Firstly, we're going to need some meat, and the authentic cuts to use are skirt and flank. Now, I've opted for skirt today and around 2.5 pounds worth. Now, both cuts are very grainy, but they both have a super beefy flavour. Now, all we've got to do to prep this is, you can see there's a few little bits of membrane and silver skin. We just need to remove that. And it's not too hard. Just use a sharp trimming knife and just get rid of those little pieces that were left behind. Any of this, it's just not going to eat well, so you may as well remove it. If you take a tiny little bit of meat with it, so be it. I'd rather remove a little bit of meat than leave that membrane on. In saying that, these didn't need a lot of cleaning up, but I will turn them over, and look, there you go. There's all of that. We need to get rid of that. Again, sharp knife, straight under. It's that simple. Hence why you should always sharpen your knives. And this is the stuff that'll just be chewy, so it's always best just to get rid of it. So that's all I removed from the steaks, but again, it's just well worth that couple of minutes just to prep it, because it's going to be so much better to eat. It's now time to pack as much flavour in as possible. I'll start by cutting up some fresh coriander. We need about 1/2 cup, just roughly chopped. This will take a minute or two. Don't feel rushed, and don't go putting this in a food processor. We just want it roughly chopped. We do not want to end up with pulp. So that's about a good 1/2 cup. You just add that to any sort of a container. To that, we can add 1/2 cup of oil, and then 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. Also, 2 teaspoons of cumin need to go in. 4 cloves of garlic that have been crushed are next. Next, using a zester, we need the zest off 1 lime. And if you don't have a zester, I suggest going out and getting one. They are fantastic little bits of kit for cooking. That should do. Now, just scrape off all the zest on the back of the zester. Now, we also need the juice off this lime. Now, any sort of citrus fruit, you're best off put your palm down with a little bit of pressure and just roll, and it opens up the fibres and it makes getting the juice out a lot easier. And we're just going to slice that in half and just squeeze all that in there. Doesn't matter if any pips go in, because it's just a marinade. Now for some brown sugar, just to help with the caramelization of the meat when we're cooking it, and just to cut through the acidity just a little bit. 1 tablespoon is more than enough. And finish that off with a teaspoon of salt flakes and a teaspoon of finely cracked black pepper. Stir this up really good. We can now get the steak into the mixture, making sure it all gets covered in some of this mixture. Both bits, get it in there. This is just packed with flavour. This can now go in the fridge for a couple of hours. Normally what I do is I'll mix it all up in the morning and just cook it later that day. That gives the steak plenty of time to marinate and absorb all the flavours. Today I'll be using a 22-inch Weber kettle. I'll start by filling a chimney starter with lump charcoal and lighting it up. Once it's all ashed over, I'll dump it between 2 charcoal baskets. That's purely just to keep the charcoal in the centre of the grate. I'll now just add the grill and put the lid on, making sure all the vents are wide open. And I'll give the grill about 10 minutes to warm up now. The grill has had 10 minutes to warm up, so we can now get this skirt steak finally on the grill. Now, this will create a fair bit of smoke, and we're more than likely going to have some flare-ups because of the oil content in that marinade. But it's all going to add to the flavour. We can just keep moving the steaks around and flipping them until we're happy with their doneness. So we can just get these steaks on the hot grill. Oh, look at that. Get both of them on there. I'm aiming for a medium rare, which is 130 Fahrenheit to 140 Fahrenheit. So just keep flipping them every 30 seconds to a minute. We do want some charring, we just don't want the steaks to burn. How long they'll take will depend on how hot your grill is and how thick the steaks are. And as you can see, they do become tender. I had the little end piece come off there, but we'll keep cooking that. It's all going to taste the same. Just keep checking the internal temp with an instant read thermometer. So just keep flip and repeat. And don't forget our little piece there. The smell coming off these is incredible. So this is looking pretty good. So these can now come off and have a rest. Oh, beautiful. That is perfect. Have you subscribed to the channel yet? It's as easy as hitting that subscribe button, and while you're there, hit the bell button as well. That way you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. Cheers. Now we've spent some time making that super tasty marinade and placing the steak in it, allowing it to absorb all those flavors for a few hours. Then we cooked it, risking life and limb with those big flare-ups. So what's another 5 minutes? Rest your steaks. For thinner steaks like this, 5 minutes is all they need. We're just giving the fibers time to relax, and then the juices are going to redistribute throughout the whole steak. Now it is time to cut it up. And this is the important part, because we need to cut across the grain. So by cutting the steak across the grain, we are actually going to make the fibers shorter. And you can see which way the grain goes. It's running across. So if I move that one out of the way, if I cut the steak like that first, and again, as you can see, our fibers are running that way, we spin it around and we're just going to cut across those fibers. And you only want to do thin slices, you know, about 1/4 of an inch to 1/3 of an inch. Now, look at that. How good does that look? Surely by now you've liked the video and you've shared it with your mates. That way they can be cooking this while you sit back and have a few drinks. Cheers. There's no wonder why this cut of beef is one of my favorites. And so versatile. You can use it in tacos, wraps, or put it in the centerpiece of your next tasting platter. The color, the smell coming off this is incredible. But we all know it comes down to the taste test. Wow. If you haven't tried skirt steak cooked like this, trust me, go out and do it. Oh, yum. Well, there you have it. Carne Asada or grilled skirt steak. If you'd like to check this recipe out a little further, there's a link in the description to the website where you'll find a wealth of information on barbecue. Thanks for watching. Cheers.